Welcome to the home of dank libations.
True. Cory wears fedoras now. It's true.
You're the fedora fucker.
I don't wear fedoras.
You say
Cory
libations
wears fedoras,
though.
Everybody. I think libation sounds like a pirate word. Cory thinks it sounds like fucking white people in Rome word. I mean, not white. It's all white people. It's white people there.
Yeah,
I mean, Western white people. I don't know.
I feel like you like meet somebody who's like from the suburbs and they come into the city and they're like, "Oh, do you know where the speakeasy is so we can get some libations?" Like I never hear real people aside from you say libations.
I should look it up, but I believe that libations is more open ended. I don't think that it's just like alcoholic beverages. I think it's like refreshments. It could be snacks. It could.
Ooh, maybe the speakeasy has smoothies.
You know what, Cory? First off, a speakeasy sounds tight. I would totally go to a speakeasy if it wasn't a pandemic. I wouldn't go to one of those like hipster ones that are run in like hip neighborhoods where they have a separate bathroom to do cocaine. That's too much for me. But I would I'd go to a speakeasy. Anyways.
Excuse me while I just reconsider our whole friendship. Anyways. Trade stuff happened, but we didn't care. And honestly, it was a really boring trade deadline. It wasn't
that boring. I think that you're wrong. I think that they're always kind of boring, and it was certainly not less boring than other years.
Sure. I mean, everybody that was supposed to get moved was supposed to. And then...
Yeah. And there was some drama inside of it. T. Heasy didn't get shit for his team.
T. Heasy?
Taylor Hall.
Oh. I don't think that's a surprise.
I think it's a bad trade. It was a bad trade. Everybody on the internet agrees with me.
I think it was a bad trade. I think Boston won easily.
Yes, obviously Boston won. Fucking whatever his first name is, Savard went for a first round, and you couldn't get a first round for Taylor Hall.
Taylor Hall hasn't done anything though.
Taylor Hall's he has more points than fucking Dennis Savard or whatever the fuck Savard it is. They're all D's. David, Dennis. Sure. He's got a lot more points than him. He's gonna have a lot more points on Boston. He had one bad year. He's still a penultimate left winger in the league.
You know what I think happened, and this is just my theory.
Hit me.
I think Buffalo was just getting insulted. And
they were just like, fuck it, let's just get this jerk off out of here.
And maybe Taylor Hall was also like, don't trade me unless it's going to be somebody that like I can actually play with. Dude,
But he did.
You look at that
was a bad
team,
contract
though,
in the first place.
You look at Boston and I just don't see a long-term stay for them
They've got a couple really decent young pieces. It's just weird because they've been rebuilding for the last 15 years.
Right.
Since Martin Pekka, Dominic Hasek.
I feel like if you're Boston, though, like you kind of are aware of your cap situation, and like I don't know, I don't think you're like.
If you're in Boston.
Yeah, you have a bunch of UFAs. Like your team's identity is like kind of on the fritz, and it's.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I mean, unless Taylor Hall's willing to sign like another bridge deal that would bring him into his 30th year on Earth, like I don't know. I don't know if he stays. But
no, I don't think he does stay. But for a second, it's worth it to have to give up a second round pick and secure that much offensive firepower for what is going to be kind of a hotly contested playoff because Boston's not as good as they have been in years past. I think it's a great trade on their part.
I think it is.
I don't think you make that trade because you think that Taylor Hall is going to re-sign with you.
Fuck no.
It's a really quality rental.
Jeez.
And maybe if he scores a point per game for the rest of the year, they'll throw, 6.5 at him and say, why don't we go win a cup together? And he probably says no because he's for sure just a little money slut.
They have fucking 9 UFAs, including Taylor Hall. Like, their identity is like so, and I don't know, super.
It's been kind of
Yeah.
though, like if you think about, I don't know, letting all the D boys walk this year or last year,
But
last couple years, really.
if you don't mind, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's just like relevant to the Taylor Hall trade. Why aren't you going after? Why didn't they go after Ekholm or somebody? Like, what the fuck? You got Mike Riley?
Because you can't get Ekholm for a second round pick. I mean, again, I agree. I think defense is their issue, but I think you look to make something that's going to have a substantial difference on your team, and Ekholm, if fucking D Savard is worth a first, Ekholm's worth 2 and a prospect,
I agree with you in a disagreeing voice. No,
I don't
you're,
think
you're
Ekholm,
totally
I don't
right.
think that was the price, but I think it was probably a first and a prospect, and it was clear, again, like you said, with a million UFAs, you're not really bringing somebody in that you're looking to like make a part of your future as a team, even if you do need the defensive help. Like, the defensive help they need and identity they need isn't going to come from 32-year-old defensemen or however old that
absolutely
is.
not. I think you're head on. And honestly, too, like, maybe the GM just kind of knew, like, okay, if I'm going to be relevant and if I'm going to sell tickets next year, I should probably try to make it out of the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah. Because Boston's a bunch of spoiled fuckboys.
Yeah.
Fuck people.
To be honest with you, though, like, next episode we should do. I think it will be playoff time by the time we record next, and it's just kind of like, does Boston even make it out of the second round? I'm not so sure.
I think we should do it once everything's set up, and then we should have just a purely, like a bracket. We should just do a bracket.
Absolutely.
Episode.
Absolutely. No, yeah, I mean, the East is
do you
pretty
think the
fucking
Wild
solid.
take over?
Rangers made a run for it, dude. They started poorly this year, and they are what is that number? That's 2-60. They're 8 points away from Boston, but I mean, Boston also.
There's like 3 games left.
There's three.
There's 4 maybe.
5. There's 5.
I mean,
think everybody
I know,
has
but they're not gonna.
5.
Boston's not gonna lose 5, and New York's not gonna win.
Yeah,
5.
no, I'm aware. They have, Boston, we're recording this Monday, depending on how motivated I am to edit this. They have the Devils tonight. So, I don't know. I'm not going to
I think
jinx anything.
It's
but
crazy the way that Pittsburgh has rose, which is kind of their move. They start really slow, and then they put it together, and somehow, say what you want about that Sid, but he's just like so good at hockey.
Yeah,
and
dude.
That's not a great team to be first in in maybe the best division in hockey.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Best of this, yeah. I will say
They might be. I mean, I don't. The Canada's not better. The
No,
Central's maybe better, but
no.
probably not.
Central is like the rec league this year.
I know, but
they-
the Knights in Colorado are really something.
Yeah, they are. Oh, Wild have the Knights tonight. I bet 100 units on my little stupid app with fake money that the Wild would win, and the over was like 0.64. So hopefully,
Yep.
not smart, but hopefully that works out. Hold on, we're steering away from the topic.
Oh no.
Do you want to hear my hot take?
Yeah, it hit me.
Listen very closely to what I say, because I don't want you to fly off the handle.
I'm gonna yell at you.
Detroit Red Wings procured the most impactful players at the trade deadline.
List them off for me so I can start shitting on you.
They traded Anthony Mantha to the Caps for Jacob Vrana and Richard Panik.
Bad trade.
And in 9 games, Panik has 7 points.
Yeah, but Richard Panik's like that. He gets these
goals.
little hot spurts. It's his entire career. He was like supposed to be the next big deal in Chicago, and then he's just like been. That's who he is. You know who he's like? He's like Ryan Donato. Where there's like these moments where everybody's like, no, that's a second line star. And then he's just like, no, actually, I'm just mediocre. I'm like, like David Clarkson-esque. Richard Panic's better than David Clarkson.
Also, too,
and Anthony Mantha's good.
Anthony Mantha's good. He has 6 points in 9 games. So,
and I think he's
his
young.
Stat lines, he's
like 27 or something.
26.
Yeah.
But
so not young, but he's not old.
Also, too, I feel like when you play Detroit, you're just kind of like, maybe you stay up an extra hour later the night before and load on a couple extra carbs because who gives a fuck? Like, so I think like going in there is like the Detroit factor, like whatever.
Yeah. Okay, but so how does that make them the most impactful trades? Just because they got 2 guys who are maybe going to be there for 4 more mediocre years of that team's existence?
Well, shoot. Excuse me, sir. No, I honestly, I just kind of saw a bunch of highlights. But, I mean, I feel like that stat line is pretty fucking legit.
That's beautiful, yeah. Especially on such a subpar team.
Yeah. It's kind of fucked up, though, because I have to say, like, maybe that Taylor Hall trade is, like, the second most impactful. In 11 games played, he has 10 points. So he was definitely kind of like a plug-and-play. But, I mean...
Yeah, that's always what it was going to be. He's on a team that has any semblance of offensive talent now.
Yeah.
Jack Eichel and the other kid, Dahlin or whatever. I think, unfortunately, the Columbus Blue Jackets are the clear winners of the trade deadline. Not for purposes relating to this year, but to pick up 2 firsts, a third, and a fourth, I think.
Yeah.
For the trash that they shipped off that's all aging, and I don't get those trades for the teams that pick them up. Nick Foligno's okay.
Yeah. And they got... Hold up. What? Okay, so I'm looking at it, and I'm trying to process it here. It's like a 3-way trade. And San Jose...
They got Nosen or something, right?
San Jose got a fourth from Toronto, but they retained $1.375 million of Foligno's cap.
Sure.
So
for 1.3
so they just spent money.
Wait, no, so Columbus retains half of
San Jose.
Wait, what?
San Jose retained some of the cap, shipped Nosen off to Toronto.
Yeah.
And got Foligno technically from San Jose.
Oh, so San Jose took Foligno, put him on, or whatever. Interesting. Well, because Columbus retained half of David Savard's contract. So I imagine that they were like already pushing. I don't know. That is weird.
It's very weird.
That's like an old-timey baseball move.
Yeah. Maybe San Jose is worried about being against the cap floor next year. But, I mean... That's strange. I don't know.
I just think it's a hell of a... Is Jarmo Kekalainen still the GM for Columbus? Because whoever it is did bang-up job. 2 firsts, third, and a fourth for a old or pushing old. He's played 600 games in the NHL. David Savard, and it definitely passed his prime. Nick Foligno is... I like it.
Yeah,
I wish it was
absolutely.
The Wild.
Dude, they're rolling into this draft with 3 first-rounders, but 2 of them will be 16th or worse.
And they'll probably give up something to bribe their way into... I don't know. I don't know anything about their expansion draft, and I don't want to get into that quite yet. But, yeah. It was a fine trade deadline. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
Things happened. Guys moved. Jake Virtanen is under investigation. I texted Cory about it for sexual misconduct stuff. Shocker, he's really only known for entering the NHL too early. He's 24, but has played 6 seasons. He's not very good. He's apparently a scumbag.
He is a scumbag.
Vancouver did a pretty good job coming out against it, and I think that's nice. The tides are a-turning. It's not the days of Dino.
No, thank God.
It's great.
Yeah, that was good to see them be like, fuck him. There's allegations against him.
Yeah.
We're making him take a leave. They worded it
Sometimes
as...
I wonder if good teams, how much effort gets put into when good players have shit come out about them, how much effort goes into dissuading that. Because Jake Vernon's been kind of like a disappointment since he entered the league too early.
Oh, yeah.
Or you look at even, what's his name, fuckboy in New York, D'Angelo, right? Like, if D'Angelo hadn't been having a horrible season and all of a sudden turned out to be an awful contract, which they're going to have to pay him, but I think it comes off the books, do they try harder to, like, paint it in a positive life or preach nonpartisanship? Or I don't know. This is me being cynical, although I think probably correct.
Yeah, I mean, I think there
you look
are
at Patrick
advantages
Kane
and
or Evander
disadvantages to
Kane,
both.
or I mean, Chicago's just done their best to not acknowledge that Patrick Kane exists off of the ice.
Absolutely true, and it's kind of, I don't know.
Evander Kane got moved, but mostly because he pissed off Big Buff, not because he's
Absolutely. No, for sure, and I like that you said Patty Kane because I feel like in this day and age it would have been more of like a fucking thing. But
I wonder. I think it would have. But honestly, we're talking about the last accusation came when I was in Chicago the first time. It's 6 years ago. It's not like we're talking about the 90s.
No, absolutely.
And they just didn't. It just didn't exist. Fucking. I don't know. Whatever. Tangent.
Yeah, I'm going to the game on Friday. That's this Friday.
Oh, who is it? It's Detroit?
No, we're not playing Detroit. What are you talking about?
I know. The fucking...
Maybe see Ryan Miller's last
disappointing
game.
Team? Oh, cute.
Yeah, I wonder if that is his
Poor
last
old
game.
guy.
Anaheim Ducks schedule. Yeah, I feel bad for him, but I mean, he won a fucking gold medal.
He's had a fine career. He's made a ton of money. He did you ever have you ever like found yourself in a YouTube black hole watching that like Real Hockey Housewife show?
What?
Are you familiar with it?
No, there's a Real Housewife hockey.
I'm sure there's not anymore, but there was briefly a real like I don't know if it's called that, but it's like Matt Martin's girlfriend was on it. Boomer fuckboy Sia Son's daughter. I don't know. It's like all of these. Ryan Miller's wife was on it. And then, of course, there was like, I just remember there being an episode where who was it that Ryan Miller fought? He got in a goalie fight with like a middling goalie who, if I recall, kind of beat the brakes off him. And it was clear that like Ryan Miller wasn't looking for it. And they had this like,
was it Kevin
Ryan
Weeks?
Miller's wife. No, Kevin Weeks was like retired at the time. It doesn't matter. They just like the wives have
it
this.
Was Buffalo.
Yes. Bernier. Yeah. And Steve Bernier's wife and Ryan Miller's wife are at dinner together, and they get in like a spat because they're husbands. She's like, well, the last time I saw him, he was punching my husband in the face. It's just, I don't know. That's my Ryan Miller. That's what I think of.
Yeah. Honestly, like, I get, like, that would suck, and I wouldn't want to, like, have dinner with somebody, but, I mean, it's like having a job, like, oh, yeah.
Also, I don't know that it's that big of... I think that we would all be better if we could shrug off a punch to the face once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude,
especially when it's a part of... Again, we've gotten into it. It's a brutish part of the sport, but everybody enjoys it, and it's part of the sport, and I just think you, like... I don't know.
I mean, I feel like it's a part of any competitive anything where that's, like, your job. Like, whether like look at baseball and look at football. Like people fight all the fucking time. Like it's
Not
just
really in the
accepted in
same.
hockey.
Not really. Yeah. I mean, it's different because it is accepted in hockey, right? Like, there's a true role for it. Whereas, I'm sorry, I've seen like one real punch get thrown in all of the baseball brawls I've ever watched.
What? Okay. I'm
It's
gonna
just,
have to
it's
send you
not
some
the same.
videos.
It's not the same, though.
Any
You know
New
it's not
York
the same.
Yankees, Boston Red Sox brawl. Like,
Yeah, they
that's been
shove each other
real.
really hard. They're really good at shoving.
Oh my god. All right, hold on.
Kicking dirt. They just can't throw. People throw punches. They don't hit anybody. Or they like glance off shoulders. It's like sometimes I have these like semi nightmares where I'm squabbling with folks and my punches just like keep glancing off of jaws with like no effect. That's what baseball fighting looks like.
Sure.
This is my subconscious, semi-conscious, whatever it is.
I want to go to a baseball game soon.
I do too. I want to go to a Sox game. I don't think it's called Comiskey anymore, but it's fun. It's nice.
No, it's like progress. No,
Century Alliance, fucking whatever. Yeah.
yeah. You know what's fucked up about baseball?
Field. Huh.
Cleveland, their baseball team, they have a shitty name that I'm not gonna
Yep.
say because it's shitty.
Mm-hmm.
They play at Progressive Field.
That's so absurd. I mean, I know that Progressive is just a monetary institution, but that's hilarious.
It's terrible.
That's so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
You're like, our slur will begin their game at Progressive Field tonight at fucking... Fuck out of here. Dirt balls.
Oh, shit. Okay, so I'm looking at the schedule here for the hockey, and it looks like next Saturday is the last games that the Wild play. Should we do brackets next week?
Yeah, that sounds great. What time is the game next Saturday?
What do you mean?
What time do they play next Saturday?
Oh, 7.
Never mind. If it was a late one, I would say that we should try and live stream it for the end of the season. But
I'm gonna be at Mancini's.
oh, it's your Mancini's night.
Yeah, my family.
Get you not quite cooked to temp correctly New York strip.
Exactly. I went. Okay, so like 8 years ago now, I did a small patch job in their kitchen.
Tight. Did you know people?
My boss at the time did, and I met the owner, and he gave me like the softest fucking like condescending handshake ever, and then was just like, "Excuse me, Maria, can you please get these gentlemen some gift cards?" And we got gift cards on top of getting paid for the job, but it was just like
tight.
it was such like a strange interaction, and then I was like, oh yeah, this guy thinks he's
It's
like
a strange
mom or
place for
something.
people who aren't from Minnesota. Mancini's is like an old school. I don't mean this in a negative way, Cory, but it's like a subpar Italian steakhouse. It's like,
Yes.
and that's
Yeah.
part of the fun. It's like fake leather, dark lighting. You get whatever like shitty jug of wine. It's a good time. It's really a good time. I think it's a great dinner experience, but it's not like great food.
The decor is straight out of a late 70s, early 80s mob movie, but it's like
It's like what Goodfellas was trying to establish with its cinematography parts. You know,
yeah,
like
yeah, and it hasn't been
it's like the
updated
fucking-
since.
yes, 100%.
Frank Sinatra,
Corey
Sinatra
patching
played
a
there.
small thing in their kitchen.
Yeah.
You know what though?
Anyways.
It's better than DeGidio's.
Oh my god, Emily keeps wanting to go there, and I'm just like,
It's
I don't
horrible.
know.
You guys are by real. You can go to real Italian places. Honestly, Cassetta's is better than DeGidio's for their pasta. I don't think Cassetta's has like great pasta.
I
You're
like
right by Mucci's.
Mucci's is whack.
Mucci's is not whack. Mucci's is really good. It's a little absurd.
It's overpriced. When I went there, it was like the leftovers the next day were reheated were like better for some reason. It was weird.
Did you go to the Minneapolis one?
No, I went to the one that's
okay.
around the corner from my house.
Because the Minneapolis one is actually bad. I don't even know if it exists anymore.
Okay, so if I had a bad experience with the St. Paul one and you admit that the Minneapolis one is bad, like, where are
The
we
Minneapolis one was bad because supposedly, and I don't know if she's there anymore, but the lady who like made the pasta is like the Italian noodle maker of Minnesota. And when I was there, I like the fried pizza. I think it's good. And I think that the pasta is fun, if not like, I don't know. Sometimes I think fancy Italian food's kind of goofy because it's noodles and I can make noodles. But
Yeah. Honestly, the best Italian joint, in my opinion, is Bar La Grassa, and their price points are like
La Grassa's
really
good.
fucking good for what you get.
It's not unreasonable for what it is.
No,
I think it's pretty. Yeah, I went there a few years ago with an ex, and it was really good food. It was
and
a
it's just
bad night, I think, but
sexy time. What do you mean bad
is.
night?
I think that we got in like a fight afterwards.
Oh.
And there was like a weird like passive aggressive like snatching of leftovers or some shit.
Samuel, you should have
The
let her
meal
have
was
her
great.
fucking baked
She
ziti.
did. She just who gets baked ziti?
I don't fucking know.
I have a hockey proffer that I didn't super prepare you for. I kind of
Oh,
did.
let's go. I love it.
I have two little questions, and I have opinions on them, but first we'll dive more heavily into I think expansion draft stuff in general. It's probably going to be what we talk about after the season's done. But do you give up Joel Eriksson? I don't know why his name is pronounced Joel. It's spelled Joel. Would you rather lose Joel Eriksson Ek or Jordan Greenway?
Oof.
They have, real quick, I'll just give you I got a couple of stats. They have basically the same amount of points. I believe Eriksson Ek, this was like 3 nights ago that I checked, he's probably scored something or gotten an assist since. Had 27 in 49 games, although 17 of them were goals. Jordan Greenway has like the flip. He, I think, has 30 points in 49 games, but only 6 of them are goals. Different roles, obviously. I think Eriksson Ek, the dream is that maybe someday he's a number 1 center, and if not, I think he will be a good number 2. Greenway's kind of the archetype of like what Minnesota had hoped to draft for the last 15 years. He's like I think will be a genuine power forward. He's very handsome, very good looking. He is. I don't know. I just like saw him shake his head after like a tussle the other day, and I was like, wow. And he's big and commanding, and I think as he continues to play a net front presence, will get better and better at that. But where do you stand on it, Corant's new pants?
I think. Well, okay. So presently, they are just undervalued important pieces to this Minnesota Wild team, and
They're very important pieces, I think, this year.
I enjoy watching both of them a lot. Greenway's upside is I don't know. I feel like he could progress into he's never going to be
Johan
like a
Franzen or
40
something.
goal scorer or anything like that.
He might be a 60-point guy, though.
But exactly, I think he could be a 60-point guy, and I think
and you get a 60-point guy who's big like that. I mean, that's a Wayne Simmons or something. You score 25, 30 goals and put up good. It's valuable. He's not that right now.
No, he's not. Eriksson Ek's upside is there are
Center.
some nights where he gets started in between Zuccarello and Kaprizov, or Fiala and whatever sixth piece center we have, and he is very much a make space, get people open. He can pass the puck to
He's a
people
true
who
center.
need it. He's a true center, and he's a center, which Jesus
Jordan Greenway
Christ.
is not, and Lord, the Wild would love that. That's the other thing we've been trying to draft for the last 15 years.
Short supply of centers. I think both players I think are gonna get paid and have very successful careers, but I think the fact that you have a center that is a proven good center finally, I think you gotta kind of go with Joel Eriksson Ek.
I actually agree. I think it's maybe something where we'll eat our words if Greenway ends up getting snatched and then does turn into a 30 goal, 60, 70 point guy who can throw his body around. I think that we'll be really sad about that. And it's one weirdly hot year in a division that we only play our division, which is not amazing. So it's hard to know how for real anybody's season is this year, you know?
Yeah.
Not that I don't... I mean, I think Kaprizov's going to be a superstar. I think you can still draw conclusions from this year, but it's a weird year. I think Eriksson Ek is actually... Damn, I hoped that I wanted to argue. It's okay. We'll, we'll find other things. Also, a center with a scoring knack like that is a pretty big deal.
Absolutely.
If he's scoring 20 goals in his first real year, second year, I guess, in the NHL, ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, sir. You look at his stats too. I just pulled up his hockey DB, and it's honestly pretty impressive. And you're gonna hate me and cue the cliche drinking game, but plus minus of 16,
Wow.
and you're putting up minutes against the McKinnon and like Stasny Tuck line. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
That's
pretty
pretty
respectable.
solid.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. No, it really is. I think I think he's going to be something. I think he is something even right now.
God fucking damn! Please don't take.
I know.
I want them to take Susie. We have solid defense coming in with Ryan
I'd like
O'Rourke.
them to take Susie too, but you'd be an idiot to take Susie over Greenway or Eck.
Yeah.
But maybe you throw Susie and whoever at them. I don't know. My second question was, if Dumba never returns to like pre-injury form, was Tuck and Holla over Dumba a bad deal or not? You know what I'm saying? Because Dumba's like, once upon a time, I was like, he's going to score 25 plus goals a year. He's a superstar. And I still think that there's potential for that to be true. But, hypothetically, should he remain, a little flat?
Hindsight's 2020. And trading Tuck, just, I don't know, you kind of kick yourself for it, because I think Tuck, and in fairness to him and credit to him, I think he's kind of surpassed expectations.
I think he's what his early expectations were. He just didn't hit it with us. But yes,
Well, I mean...
And he also plays really good against the Wild, which I think low-key influences my opinion on it. He does. He's the best. He's the best against us.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I like Dumba, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, fuck.
Because Hall is not super special, but he's had some moments, and he's like a weirdly clutch player.
Yeah, it seems like that was the only time he showed up. Like, he'd be absent for like the last third of the season and then score like an overtime game winner in like game 3 in the first round or some shit like that. Fuck, dude. You know what? I really like Dumba. I think if he's not able to like get his scoring knack, I think he can still be a solid defender. He has the size and the grit to like back his shit up.
He's still not amazing defensively.
Because he's still trying to pinch in and like do dumb shit.
I know, and I think that's ideally. I think that's fine. Again, it's okay if you allow 3 goals when if 3 goals are your fault versus scoring 20 to 30. It's different if you're scoring 6 goals a year. Although I still see he has these moments, and he still has most of that slap shot, and I think he will return to fine fiddle, and he'll be a continuing great piece. But it's something to think about.
Yeah,
with another expansion looming.
Yeah, fuck, dude. He's only 26. I feel like he's been in the NHL forever.
Yeah.
No, I think that is. I think he could go either way. If he doesn't get his scoring figured out, I think he could hone his defense. If he doesn't,
I guess follow up. Do you try and get rid of Dumba and keep Greenway and Erickson Ek?
I think in an alternate universe where Matt Dumba this season has a backup, bounce back year, and at the trade deadline he has 30, 35 points, maybe 15 to 20 of them are goals. I think
Then they take him.
I think he's him, a prospect, and a third rounder for top tier return.
For you're saying to trade him.
Yeah, I think if he bounced back, we could have made a huge splash for a number one center somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. We got kids in the waiting. I like him though. I'd like him to stay.
I really enjoy his game. I don't get the camp of Dumba gave up that goal. Dumba turned it over in the offensive zone, because you have to take chances to get offense.
Mostly,
hold on, please. Yeah. To get offensive production from your defensemen. There's no offensive defenseman where they're not a liability at some point when they're on the ice. Erik Karlsson, for example. You just don't.
Sure.
You either want an offensive defenseman or you want a stay-at-home shutdown defenseman. You can't have fucking both.
I don't entirely agree, but I see your point. I think super talented offensive defensemen usually have moments of. I think that there's a lot of guys who put up. I mean, Ryan Suter puts up 40 to 50 points, and he's not a defensive liability.
No.
And Zdeno Chara put up pretty solid numbers for a long time without being a defensive liability. I think Dumba's a splashy guy. He's a goal scorer and a defenseman, and I think most of the time he's really good. I think that there's a barometer to reckless offensive defensemen and more calculated ones. And I think he's an explosive player, so that's his style. He does things explosively, and sometimes but I mostly agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't enjoy Suter this year.
No? He's not having an awful year.
He's not having a great year, and I will say there have been some pretty key moments where it's just
he's had a couple sloppy ones. You're right.
Oh, what are you doing, bud? I don't just if somebody's listening to this and you happen to watch a Minnesota Wild game, take a look Ryan Suter is a very good defenseman, but keep your eye on him.
Keep your eye on him with the caveat that Ryan Suter has always looked boring, no matter how good he does.
Yes, and he's not a stick handler.
He's not.
He can poke it away, but I don't know.
And he can play make. I mean, but yes, he's looked older. He's 36,
You know what? We got him until he's 41, so just relax. No, I'm serious.
I know, it's terrible. He's scoring at a 40% point per game, or 0.4 point per game pace, which honestly, if that's what he ends up at for the last few years, I'd be thrilled. I worry that he'll get dramatically lower than that, but
I mean, he's going to eventually lose minutes to Brodin and Spurgeon. Susie, if he stays, too.
Both of those guys are already hitting middle-age, post-prime as well, though. I think that we've got some years with them, but
sure.
I love Jared Spurgeon. He's been less spectacular this year. I don't know. He has.
Has he?
I think he's got 3 goals.
I think
Jared Spurgeon scores goals. That's part of his game, Cory. It absolutely
is. It?
Yeah. He's not as flashy as Dumba, but Jared Spurgeon's considered as good as he is because he's good offensively.
21 points in 49 games, though. That's not too bad.
It's not bad. It's the same. That's the same numbers that Suter's putting up, though. 6 goals. It's not bad.
Well, now that we have Kirill the Thrill, we don't need our defenseman to be scoring all these damn goals.
That's fair. That's fair. Heard that. Yeah, he's actually having a fine year. You're right.
Right on. Cool. What else you got?
That's about it for this guy.
Cool. All right. We'll record
I'm gonna order
next
some
week
banchan.
sometime.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play a pickup game
people.
in a week, so everybody pray I don't have a
Can't
fucking
wait for
heart
the
attack.
updates. You're not gonna have a heart attack, but do a little jog before.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Planet Fitness now.
Yeah. Cory and I joined the gym today.
Without even talking to each
Without
other.
even talking about it. It wasn't a coordinated effort. Very cute.
Right on, dude. I will talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Peace, bud.
Bye.